The aim of the webinar is to decode the law college admissions process in India and to help students make an informed decision about pursuing career opportunities in the law. The participating colleges on today's panel are members of our LSAC Global Law Alliance. This national consortium of private and prestigious law colleges have reserved seats for candidates that are taking the LSAT India exam this summer. These institutions have a set of financial scholarships that they make available for qualified aspirants to support your law school journey. We are very fortunate to have this esteemed panel convened today. The webinar is brought to you by LSAC Global through our Discover Law India campaign. The campaign aims to create pathways for law aspirants seeking career opportunities in India. So we have Dr. Akhilesh Kumar Khan, who is the Deputy Director and the Director of Admissions at Lloyd Law College. Dr. Khan is a professor of Indian history at Lloyd College. His area of research primarily focuses on women's study and police reform. He has been a significant contributor to academia in India and foresees that the Indian education system will make a tremendous impact in the world going forward. And he is dedicated to making education equal and accessible for everyone and every student in India that wants to pursue it. Next on our list, we have, next slide. Thank you. Next on our list, we have Dr. Alok Mishra, who is the Dean of Nmims School of Law. Dr. Mishra has over 20 years of teaching experience and has taught more than 15 courses in law. He brings over 2 decades of industry experience to academia and legal practice and has received numerous awards, as you can imagine, for his contributions to legal education. No surprise there. Moving on, we have Dr. Kiran Gardner, who is the Dean at Alliance School of Law, Alliance University. Her areas of interest are criminal law, constitutional law, research methods, and laws that are related to women in education. Dr. Gardner has attended and presented at numerous national and international conferences. No surprise there. Up next, we have Dr. Tabriz Ahmed, who is the Vice Chancellor and Dean of the School of Law over at GD Goenka University. He specializes in cyber law, intellectual property rights, energy law, jurisprudence, and has a background in commercial law as well. And he has taught at some of the finest institutions at India for over 20 years. These institutions include KIIT University, UPES, and WB National University for Judicial Sciences. So, and up next, finally, last but not least, we have Dr. Nuzant Praveen Khan, who is the Dean of the School of Law at Bennett University. She is also the former Dean of Faculty of Law at Jamia Millia Islamia University in Delhi. Her award-winning PhD work focused on legal control of air pollution problems and perspectives. She is an advisor to both academic institutions, government institutions, and is routinely called upon to provide guidance on things that are related to the environment. So it is our pleasure to welcome our esteemed panel. And I think without further ado, we are now at a position to enter our Q&A session. So Professor Akhilesh, I'm going to actually kick the first question over to you, right? If I can. So yeah, given the uncertainty around the pandemic, what are some of the steps that your university has taken to ensure that the admissions process for students that are applying to law school is both smooth but also in an enjoyable process.
Thank you, sir. So, as you know, the entire world is going through very challenging times. However, life, health, and safety are the foremost concern to be kept in priority while selecting the candidates. But at the same time, fair selection process is equally significant, and this
Hmm.
is why earlier we were taking admissions through our own test. This is called as Lloyd entrance test,
Mm-hmm.
and this time also we announced the same on 26 June 2021. But last time
Mm-hmm.
also, due to this pandemic, most of the tests have been either cancelled or they have come online actually. What happened in India, to be very frank, online system was not that much robust, and this is
Hmm.
why online examinations were definitely having some problem, and it has gone to the court also. But somehow the selection process have been done last year through CLAT, through other medium like LSAT and other common entrance test. So last time we have suspended our entrance test, and now we are
Hmm.
taking students for this pandemic time period through LSAT definitely, and we are also taking some students through CLAT examination as well. So all those
Hmm.
students who got certain percentile which is fixed by LSAT, through that we are
Mm-hmm.
asking students to come to online interview process, which we will announce soon. Maybe after 15th May, we'll announce the this online interview process, and we'll take all
Mm-hmm.
the students through their marks in LSAT or CLAT,
Mm-hmm.
and simultaneously interview process would be definitely there, because earlier we were having this two-tier system wherein our test was conducted, and then finally students have to come for the to the campus for interview. But this time and last year as well, we were not able to held this interview in the campus, so we are doing it online. So this is how we are
One.
trying to cope up with the pandemic this time.
Absolutely. So it
Yeah.
sounds like so from what I heard, it's important to have a very robust application process, one that allows flexibility and provides more options to
Yeah.
students.
What we are doing actually, we are giving option of the slots to the student for interview also as per their availability and convenience, so that they can check the slots and they can book their slots by themselves, and only on
Hmm.
those slots they should be available for the interview window. Even if somebody
Got.
loses a chance in case of any problem in the
Hmm.
family or any health reason, they will be given second
Hmm.
opportunity also.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think that that is a perfect segue into Professor Gardner, right? So if you could, ma'am, could you highlight some of the steps and tools that you guys have brought forward to help students that are aspiring to join a law college this year, in spite of everything that is happening, to make that journey and dream possible for them?
Yeah, regarding admission at Alliance University, we have in the last year itself, we have made everything online. So students can go to our website, they can apply online. And to make things very smooth, on every Thursdays, we have their interaction with them. After they give their exams on Thursdays, those who are interested in studying law at Alliance, we also
Mhm.
have our own entrance. And if they have appeared for LSAT, we give them admission based on the LSAT score also. Then they don't need to appear for our examination.
Hmm.
Thereafter, we have one session, interactive session, which usually I have with them, but sometimes even a senior faculty will talk to them so that if they have any queries, that can be resolved. And thereafter, they have a personal interview with the faculty members. That is just to check the aptitude of the students, that whether he has the aptitude for studying law, and thereafter admission is confirmed. Last year, we also had for a very long time, we had to take classes online. So we are prepared. As of now also, we are conducting online classes. So the university was all geared up for online admission and online classes also, and online exams also.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think that is the digital transformation that had to happen in 2020 in order for institutions to be ready to educate their students. So I'm going to switch gears and now kick it over to Professor Tabriz. Sir, if you could highlight what are some of the efforts you guys have made over at GD Goenka to ensure that students have an opportunity to, in fact, attend law school this year if they're so inclined to attend GD Goenka.
So thank you, Yusuf, for the introduction.
Absolutely.
And it's very common question about that how we go for the admission process. You know that we are very early stage online promoters, and we are very active in the online system. So already we have inbuilt system for online application process for admissions. Anybody interested, they can go to the website. They can see the entire detail of the university, 360 view of the campus, faculty background and all. And then they want, they can apply online. And then we organize a kind of small test, and then we take interview, and then we can see whether he's suited for the admission or not. Also, we prefer the CLAT ranking plus LSAT ranking scores for admission process. And then ultimately the whole idea is that whether somebody is really interested to go for the legal education or not. That is very important aspect. If you're really inspired, if you're really mentally prepared to go for legal education, then you can do wonders. So whole idea is testing the attitude of the person, that why you want to go for legal education. And also because of the very vast growing area in the legal background, legal fraternity, and also legal kind of the career options. Sometimes we go on also testing that what kind of course is suited for him. For example, we have the BLB honors, BCom LB honors, BBLB honors, and also we have a lot of option to super specialize. And then accordingly, we then do a lot of counseling and then guide them what is the best course for them.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I think one of the common themes that I'm hearing is the importance of counseling, interviews, and guidance in this process. Dr. Alok Mishra, is it possible for you to shed some light on the efforts that you're making over at Nmims in this area as well? Because I know that you guys have multiple campuses around the country, right? And so how are you placed in that regard?
Good evening, Mr. Yusuf, and all the panelists and attendees in this webinar. And we are very thankful, in fact, to LSAT. In fact, when we got associated with it formally last year, but we were part of it for several years.
Yes.
In fact, the primary concern of premium law schools in the country is to provide the finest company to the students also who join us. And the best of the best, not in terms of quality, but also in terms of quantity, like is our concern, because we have several law schools across India of Nmims in 8 different campuses. So in this light, I'm very, very thankful to LSAC team who made it possible to have the finest admissions. And LSAT has taken up this challenge in India with as an endeavor. In fact, strived very well in tackling the difficulties which CLAT poses before the students, and quite often as students they feel the backlash and all that. So this time also you are the leaders in conducting the tests in so many slots and far ahead than others. In Nmims, the process is that we take students on the basis of LSAT, which is a value neutral examination. So students can join from any stream, not necessarily having a special preparation of law, and the best of the human mind comes out of them. And then as a ritual, we honor the CLAT also, because that's more known in India. the quality of tests might not be that good. And then Nmims also conducts its law aptitude test, which is known as Nmims LAT. So these are the three channels through which the admissions are taken in a centralized manner, without any management quota, not even a single seat. There is no other channel except through LSAT, CLAT, and Nmims LAT, no walking admissions at all, and absolutely transparent and fair all India merit list. And accordingly, we admit and ensure that that the transparency and the values for which Nmims stands, they stand translated into action. And we have partnership with Tata Consultancy Services, which conduct the test of Nmims law admission tests, and with LSAT and with CLAT. So these are the three channels through which we admit, and we welcome, in fact, all the students to join Nmims as per their preferential choices of locations, and also the specializations which different law schools of Nmims offer, in fact, aim at as specialized centers, not only law school, but as specialized centers of that particular law. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Very informative answer. I think one thing that I heard from you was the importance of fairness, and also the importance of associating with the best providers in the country, right? And using that as a tool to attract very bright and promising students. So if I can, Dr. Gardner, I'm going to come back over to you and ask you, what are some of the criteria that a student or a parent listening should be considering in developing a list of for selecting a law school, right? Thinking about what they ultimately want to accomplish in their career, what would you put on that list if you were, counseling your child to help them select the best law school for them?
Yeah, it's really a very important question for every person who is getting into this profession as to what to look for. One very important criteria I feel is for any law school or any law aspirant is the research. A person cannot make a career in law without research skills, whether it is litigation or judiciary, or whether it is academics, or whether it is a in-house law, legal counsel. So he should see whether research is emphasized, because many a times they would pass out with a degree, but if they do not have research skill, they will not be able to make a career in law. Second most important aspect I feel is communication skills. So whether the college is providing enough opportunity to develop their communication skills, whether it is written communication skills or oral communication skills. Another very important aspect is whether they are able to critically think, have logical reasoning. These skills are not seen, but they are so very important for this profession. So that what the college is doing to ensure that a reasoning skill is developed. Another very important aspect I see is necessary is teamwork. A student, when we get student also, we find it difficult for them to make them work in teams. So making them work in teams and developing that team spirit, that is very important. And another very important is time management, like the priorities, for them to set the priorities and manage their time too. Another very important is to have the value system, the ethics. The law college also has to emphasize on the ethics of that, because that becomes very important. And it goes without saying that it should have a strong foundation of knowledge, both of substantive laws as well as procedural law. If any college gives this, that is the right college for you to take admission.
Wonderful. Yeah, that is a very, very, I think, strong list of research, communication, both written and oral, logical reasoning, the importance of teamwork. I think is something that I know that law schools in the US are beginning to put a lot of emphasis on. We just hosted a webinar, I believe, last month, where we had a professor talking about incorporating from the University of Pennsylvania the importance of incorporating teamwork into the law school curriculum, right? Very similar to how business schools do. So I think that is a very very, very strong list. So Professor Tabriz, you look like you wanted to add on to that list. So I'm going to go over to you now and see what you can add on.
Okay, definitely. I think you were asking that what are the skills required for a lawyer? What I understand.
Well, yeah. So the question is, what criteria should parents and law aspirants consider when selecting a law college?
Okay, very good question. That's a very difficult question that because if a wrong decision will end up a serious problem for the family and also for the student, and a right decision may end up a great success. So very important question you are asking that how to decide. So first and foremost thing is that the culture, because I'm a strong believer the culture of the learning environment, that what is the learning environment culture is there, because even if I remember my young days during the joining of the NUGS Calcutta, and Madhav Menon said in the first meeting that we want to build a culture where we put a stone in the law school, even the stone we start speaking law after 5 years. So I'm a strong believer of the culture. So that's why we should see what is the culture of learning. And that's why we see mostly Indian students, they want to go to the foreign universities, because there is a culture of learning, culture of openness is there. We respect the diversity, we respect the kind of the new original thoughts. So my point is that they first should see the culture. What is the kind of culture followed in the campus, whether faculty is very open, students are diverse, and the learning environment is there. People respect the kind of the creativity, openness. They respect the equality, fraternity and all. So, but the point is that it's very difficult to build the culture, and culture building a very, very long process. And it requires a lot of trust and confidence. So first thing is that whether the law school has a very good culture about the learning process or not. Second thing is that very rightly I appreciate the point of the Dr. Kiran Gardner. She has mentioned all three important skills of lawyering, that research ability, the presentation ability, this novelty in the thinking process, and also that regarding this argumentation ability, all are very, very important. And if you see about the growth of the legal education in the last 20 years, it has totally changed from the earlier days. If you see earlier days, people thought that only they will be going to practice in a lower court or district court, and then that will be the, they are very bright, they may go to high court. This was the kind of thought process. But right now, a lawyer is not only just go for practice, a lawyer is just like a leader. He's an intellectual leader. He can be the part of the process. If you see the entire kind of the Indian War of Independence, or if you see the French Revolution, American Revolution, even currently, all those who are leading the show in the world, they are mostly lawyers. So it means that producing a lawyer, producing a future leader, and a leader means that the person will be able to lead the kind of the show. They will be able to have the new direction, new thinking, a very innovative thought process. And because if you know right now, the law will be a defining factor. For example, even if what I'm strong believer, even if you want to raise the foreign direct investment, you have to make a very good law for your country. If you law-abiding countries, their law is followed, the rule of law is there, any company will be very freely trying to come to and even establish a very big industry, or maybe willing to even invest $1 million. So the point is that then how this quality will be built up in a particular lawyer. So this particular lawyer is not only having the understanding of just basic laws. He should understand the society, culture, history, economy, and also the foreign direct investment, international economic scenario, and also international policy making, the coordination between the foreign countries, all these things. So even if you see pandemic, right now the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic is not a local problem. It's a global problem. Unless until people at global level coordinate and make a very strong law and implement, we cannot solve this problem. So that's why my point is that a lawyer should have very holistic or international kind of globalized thinking process. He will have very wide perspective and very innovative thought process, and then he will be just like a leader, because the lawyer is not only career, a kind of the court of law. He has a very wide career. Even he can be in a boardroom guiding the industry that what is going to be the future market and how the company should drive. So that's why now a lawyer's role has become very, very holistic and very, very diverse and very, very international in nature. So that building of this kind of skill is very, very important for the law school.
Wow. Wow, two very, I think, magnificent answers thus far. The importance of culture, culture for learning, openness, diversity, creativity, and what really resonated with me was the intellectual leadership, the importance of seeing lawyers more as leaders with global and national perspectives that are essentially able to shape not only the politics, but also have impact on the economy as well. And I think that that is a very poignant point, considering that India is the world's largest democracy. So I think that the role of the lawyer in India is even, I think, more important, right? So Dr. Akhilesh, I'm going to come over to you and see and give you an opportunity to add your thoughts to that question as well. I'm happy to repeat it. It looks like Dr. Nuzat Khan, welcome.
Yeah,
welcome.
I am fine. Yeah, sorry to join a little late.
Of course. I understand you were breaking your fast, so welcome. I'm going to come to you as soon as we hear from Professor Akhilesh and ask you a question.
Right.
Welcome.
So, Mr. Yusuf, since India is having almost 1,500 law schools around, and definitely led by NLUs basically. So, given with the choice of multiple law schools, there is always an aspiration among the student to choose the best one. So here it is a difficult task, if I must say. So from the point of what other professor has said, it's definitely I'll be a little bit differ from them, because I'll be speaking you from the point of view of the student. So what student is seeking actually in India, they definitely wants to enroll themselves in any of the NLUs. That is the first choice given to them actually. So every parents and aspirants wants to go for the law NLUs first, but definitely there are different private law schools and universities who are doing very good. And even after getting passed out from these law schools, their students are doing really well and advancing their career like any other national law schools or pass out anything. So for me, there are 5 parameters through which any parents or aspirants can choose their dream law school. What are these actually? These are definitely, first one is faculty for me. The second one should be curriculum. The third one should be skill development of the students. This is one of the neglected area where all the law schools should focus actually. And the fourth one is internship and placement. And last one is alumni. So just to brief you that if any law schools is having experienced and globalized faculty with a combination of industry experts, this opens the doors of knowledge actually. So where academic faculty members enrich the students with the subject knowledge, industry experts take their knowledge to different levels with their exclusive knowledge in the industry. So definitely these two are required. Second one is curriculum. When we talk about curriculum, it is offered by law school should be practical oriented and integrated. I can say practical integrated subjects. Curriculum should be designed which incorporates profession and practice oriented learning, definitely. Third one for me is skill development of the students. Generally in today's competitive world, no student can grab the opportunity. I am very frank on this. No student can grab opportunities in the market without having the practical knowledge. So skill development centers, what we are doing or different law schools are doing actually, emphasizes to enhance the employability skill of the student, and that is required actually. So, and the internship and placement cell, again, it is required because legal skills cannot be absorbed from a book. They are transferred from attorney to the students, that to through experience only. So that is why a student must experience the practice of law in order to acquire these skills. And the last one, definitely, alumni of any law school is the reflection of their past, representation of their present, and link to their future. So it is the true representation of academics and achievements of the law schools. So for me, these 5 parameters should be definitely should be checked first, and then parents and students should take the admission, because I had already told you that there are 1,500 and more than that law schools in India. So choosing the right one, because almost they are going to devote 20% of life in a law school for 5-year course. So it should be a right choice for them. That's all from my side. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think that you have definitely hit the nail on the head, so to speak. There is a strong desire and preference, I think, by one and all law aspirants and parents, to a large degree, to attend one of the NLUs in India. I think the unfortunate part of that is just that there's so few seats, right? So then you have this, highly competitive environment, right? And so for students that aren't in a position to gain admissions, they should not feel as though, their entire career essentially has kind of blown up because they haven't, gotten an opportunity to attend one of these great universities that the country offers. I think what is clear to me in the work that we have been doing in India is that there is a plethora of very, very good private institutions that have now had the ability to not only capture the imagination of students, but also to think creatively, right? And add different both pedagogical elements, but also curriculum elements to ensure that students are practice ready. And I'm going to come back to you regarding that at a later point. I'm going to give Dr. Khan an opportunity, since she just came in, to respond to that question and really kind of shed some light on what you feel. So the question is, what criteria should a parent and student sort of consider when selecting a law school?
Yeah, so there are several factors which the parents and the aspirant of the law course, they should consider while they are selecting a law school. And as already we remember, while we were the student, there used to be only government universities, at least in India. There was no concept of private universities, central universities, and state universities. So one used to be very lucky to study in a central university. But nowadays, there are lots of private universities, and in between there are these national law universities, which are imparting only legal education. They are universities. Generally, when a university is there, there is a multidisciplinary, different courses are happening. But these national law schools focused with this. But simultaneously, some of the law schools which are emerging, and they are emerging in a very, very specific manner, and they are also catering to the need of the students to be the good future professionals. So while they are selecting a good law school, see, that was I just want to clear very much on this, that central university and government university period, then this NLUs, and then afterwards, large number of private schools, out of which some of them are very good. So for the students choosing a law school, it is, if they are not going to a central university or they are not going even to a law school, national law university, there are options, and they are better options rather. Because while you are in a university, if you have your interaction with other disciplines also, you have, and that is very important nowadays, interdisciplinary approach, right?
Yes.
So for example, if I supposedly here representing Bennett University. So Bennett, as you know, is a university of the Times of India group. It is having a very strong industry interface, a strong network. That will be, I think, one of the very important component for a student to be exposed to all the dimensions of how the actually they can work, how what will be their practical part of their working, and here they can get a very good opportunity. Then of course, as every, I think, professor will say, faculty credentials or the faculty, the quality of the faculty, it matters, which is seen, and which I understand good law schools are always taking care of that, that their faculty have not only they have their qualification fulfilled, which is required qualification, that they should be eligible as per the UGC guidelines we follow in India, University Grant Commissions. So first category is that the teachers should be fulfilling all those criteria, but simultaneously, nowadays, while selecting a teacher, it is also being felt that the teacher himself or herself is exposed to the globalized education in some of the other time of their career. That is going on to help to the future learners, that is our students. So that is another important thing. And then thirdly, I will say, see, pandemic have also taught us a lot, but globalized legal education, because even our new education policy is talking about that education should not be remain tight-walled in one particular country or in one particular city or one particular state, but students' exposure should be globalized. They can be eligible, or they can be, intelligent enough, or they should be taught in such a manner that they are exposed to that. So in this context, I would just like to highlight with regard to my school, to the information of everyone, we are having many collaborations, such as we have Cornell Law School, New York, whereby the faculty is here for one full semester. So first of all, global exposure. Secondly, in this context, they are being taught not only those typical law subjects, they are being taught some literature, some psychology, and in the global perspective. So that makes the students to cope with the globalized pressure and to have a feeling that they understand the things. Then interdisciplinary approach, I probably Akhilesh also talked about that. Now, first of all, this 5-year law curriculum itself is of such nature that there is a little scope for that interdisciplinary thing. But simultaneously, we leave our student open to some type of, some credit courses, some courses which they can take interfaculty, of which, I mean, even the law university offers. And in the governmental context, in fact, we call it CBCS, choice-based credit system, whereby even the government is now focusing on that. And that is why in the new education policy, they have focused that the students should be exposed to, they can willingly go for one semester to another university in the world, or the universities of the foreign countries can have a setup here. So here itself, interdisciplinary education is already prevalent, in the sense that if a student of law and he or she is doing a course in intellectual property law, for example, but the person want to understand the technical nitty-gritties of the thing, the student can opt a course in the engineering faculty, technology faculty, right? Similarly, technology student can come to our school and also know about the law of a particular thing, maybe mechanical. Similarly, a biology student or the medical college student can come to us and read some of the law and medicine or something. So this interdisciplinary education is happening, I think, across the world, and simultaneously we are further focusing on that. And then if I talk of adaptability to to the changing global scenario, which I'll say we have not done anything new. It is being taught to us by the situations, by the by the God himself, that we have to adapt to different type of, we have switched over suddenly to the online thing. We have suddenly, got this ability that we can take the things, all our requirement, and that is helpful in their global exposure, because now everyone is accustomed to that online thing. So that is further helpful to their global requirement with ease, actually, with ease they have. Then a good university should have or must have, and that is being also taken care. Since I was a dean in another university also, that was a government university, Central University, Jamia Millia Islamia. So I have that particular nature of, so we always have that network of eminent jurists, some senior people from the judiciary, from the legal fraternity, or maybe from the industry, or the public policy analyst. of some national important, and international exposure people who are connected to us. They're not directly the professors, but they are coming time to time to take the students, with their experiences. Apart from some practical courses, practical courses, which are again a part of curriculum. But the thing is how we take it. Sometimes we just take it, it is a part of curriculum, teaching them, clinical courses in the form of alternative dispute resolution mode, or it is teaching them with regard to professional ethics, or teaching them, this moot court skills. So sometimes it is, I have, because we are exposed to many universities, otherwise visiting the university, somewhere it is being just taken as if it's a course to be passed. But we are focusing our student to take the practical, to take the exposure to the community, exposure to the practical part of it, rather than just taking the lectures and writing an examination. For example, if you talk of alternative dispute resolution, so we make the simulation exercise for the students so that they really know what is it. Probably that care should be taken by most of the law schools, which is there. And then, of course, legal aid, which was earlier, we remember, legal aid clinics are a mandatory part across the world, probably. They exist in the law schools, legal aid clinics, whereby the student actually be a part of it, and it is not taken as seriously a course, maybe non-credit, but this is being taken very seriously, very seriously, that through this legal aid clinic, this is learning by doing, actually, by the students. They really go to the field. If we understanding the real meaning and the real purpose, why this particular subject is there, why this particular thing, rather it should be given higher importance. When I joined Bennett, I asked them to show me where is a legal aid clinic. The registrar took me for a tour to the school campus. So the area which I found it is not very big. It should be further given a bigger size, so that we are capable of, if community people visit, where they will sit, how they will take the problem, how the counseling will be done. It is not just for the namesake that Bar Council of India will look at that we have the legal aid room. Rather, it should serve the purpose. And that will serve the purpose of the students also. This is what I feel. And of course, internship placement is the priority of every university, which we are also doing. Internship is very well done. Placement time has not come for us. It will be coming for the next year. But definitely there is a big energy which is being invested into it.
It sounds like you guys are making some serious strides, both into interdisciplinary education, to ensure that you have this cross-pollination of both. Right, so you have the ability to look at maybe some of the technical aspects of a particular law, right? Whether it's technology and law and technology. You also brought in some global perspectives, global exposure. I think you have articulation agreements with Cornell University Law School.
Sorry to interrupt, Yusuf. We have not only with Cornell, we have 3 more universities. American University, Washington also we have. And then, 2 more universities. One is from United Kingdom and one is from Paris. So these are 3 more universities. We have also the infrastructure, which I forgot to tell you. The good infrastructure is also seen by the parent.
It sounds like you guys have really put a lot of thought into developing your curriculum to ensure that a student gets a great multi and interdisciplinary education. So with that, I'm going to segue and bring Dr. Alok Mishra back into the conversation. And the question that I have for you, Dr. Mishra, is really around how were you ensuring that your students that are graduating from Nmims are in fact practice ready, right? So we just kind of talked about the importance of clinics, legal aid clinics, internships, right? And making sure that you interweave that into the curriculum, right? And give these experiential opportunities. Can you shed some light on how Nmims is tackling that across your different campuses that you have?
This is a
Yes,
question.
definitely. So, definitely, like to my mind, in fact, we are a placement-driven university, and we are a brand for that, in fact. And the biggest challenge which legal academics is facing, the legal education is facing, for which the revolution, education revolution, took place in India during last 20 years, and that had been in private sector. And by revolution, what we mean that a dramatic, unbelievable change which takes place when the curtain is drawn or removed. That, oh my God, this happened. So now multiple number of times, like in terms of quantity, the number of universities, private universities have gone up. And the greatest challenge which legal education is going to face, and now there are litigations in high courts, students reaching high courts, that we invested 20 lakhs of rupees in legal education for 5 years by way of fee and other things, and from where we pay back the education loan. So the onus is on the university. The biggest challenge, the biggest task for private sector legal universities, the responsibility is to place each and every student when he or she passes out the 5th year. And for that, he should be employer friendly right from moment one. I'm not saying even day one, when he or she joins the legal corporate. He should be acceptable. He should be a problem solver from moment one of legal corporates. In fact, litigation, judiciary are the areas which fall where the segment is of very low, very less number of students in the pie chart. The greatest challenge is the placement, and it's the 4th batch of Nmims Law School in Mumbai, from where the batches are passing out. We ensure 100% placement, and we are famous for that. And it's not I'm saying, but bar and bench, life, law, and the rankings say that. We are a tier 1 university of the country out of 20 universities which were declared tier 1 by MHRD of the Union government. And that is the biggest challenge and biggest fun for us, to ensure that each and everyone stands placed, in fact, the job, the settlement at the right age. When we conserve years by admitting a student at the age of 17, we wish that each one of them gets settled in life also as quickly as possible. So with the largest intake of more than 900 students, the help rendered by LSAT and Nmims LAT exam, CLAT is in background now. Gone are the days of CLAT and national law universities. The leadership each and every one of us has to take up, because our priorities, our students, our parents, their goals and aspirations, our locations, our faculty, our academic leaders are different. So the location wise also, the universities matter. Bombay being the commercial capital of the country, we have law firms here, and from here the next step is to cross the seas and go abroad. So for us, the placement is the biggest challenge, and we ensure that. And also, like the substantive and procedural laws as set by Bar Council of India and traditional universities, the way of teaching has gone, even law of contract has gone, sea change, law of torts, in fact, required to be codified, awaited from 1872 itself. The Indian Contract Act was passed, Indian Torts Act not passed still yet. So those are the areas which are core areas, like constitutional law and jurisprudence and other things. They will take care, like we take care of them. But the priority, in fact, is the recent areas of law in the curriculum which are being taught. Like there is already, we are teaching, in fact, in the syllabus to our UG and PG students, like law related to artificial intelligence, related to blockchains, related to cloud computing, quantum computing, data analytics, big data, mobility laws, social media laws. Everything, in fact, have been made part of the curriculum. Each and every student, right from semester 1, is writing a mandatory research paper. The skills are being given to student, not to the faculty. There are more student development programs, not exactly the faculty development programs. The faculty development programs are aimed on how to make legal education for 5 years relevant, so that a student which passes out at the end of the 5th year becomes industry friendly and employer friendly. So that is what is the target from day one itself. So first important thing for all of us is to get the right type of students in our university, so that bigger challenges are there by the peer group for the students who join us, the competitive spirit besides being cooperative spirit. So right digital marketing and then the curriculum revision. There are 4 times BOS that sits in fact to revisit the syllabus in a year. 4 academic councils held every year. Then syllabus revisited 15 days back. We have completely revamped again, which we keep on doing for last several years. So like that we work, and then compulsory internship right from semester 1, which is to be evaluated 20 marks for every year, 100 marks paper in the final year where the things are aggregated. Students, in fact, we have such a big placement cell. I can't describe more than 50 people working in Nmims in placement cell itself, dedicated placement cell. That is what another feature. Not that faculty heading any placement cell. Faculty has been freed, in fact, from all these nuances, and they just have to teach well, in fact, the students on the syllabus and prepare their lectures well. So then the curriculum and then the attendance, we are very harsh, in fact, for more than 80% of attendance as a policy in Bombay. And then we ensure that these 5 years the students, they without a pressure, they study and they develop on their own in the guidance of the faculty members. Then exposure is very important. In fact, more than 20 people in Board of Studies, the majority of them, 85% from the corporate. 2 great judges also sitting, like Justice B.N. Sri Krishna is member of BOS with us, Justice Radha Krishnan is with us, and then 1 or 2 academic or law professors there, because you see now the leadership in the field of law for corporate universities is with corporate leaders, and their hands-on experience shared with faculty. That, in fact, decides what kind of syllabus we are going to teach, what is relevant syllabus and what is not relevant syllabus. And that is what is our specialty with Nmims, and that's for what we are famous for. Of course, we do honor the guidelines given by the Bar Council of India, which also has a lot of esteemed people in it. We do respect everyone, but each and every university is in the private sector. There is no comparison with central university or government university. They are they have receded in background. It will take decades for them to revive, in fact, or they may be disinvested. Now the talks are going on by government itself and NLUs, except 4 or 5. The rest, what the condition is better known to all of us. So all that, in fact, and that's why we have to take care of the future of the student. It should be in the safe hands, and that's how we focus. And we also work as hand-holding law school for marginal law schools of the country. And we are very strict in admission process without any management quota or walk-in admissions, except LSAT, except Nmims SLAT, and except CLAT, no admission in whatever way. Like we fail to honor it. Quite often we lose relations in that regard.
It sounds like you guys have put a lot of thought into ensuring that the students that do gain admission also are placed when they come out, right? And there's a lot of effort, energy, thought, and strategy around ensuring that you have 100% placement. And so, as you can imagine, we are pressed for time, right? So we're going to do almost like a rapid fire round of questioning. So I'm going to come to you and I'm going to ask that you keep your remarks very short, and so that we can get through these questions, because I'd love to be able to open up our conversation for at least 10 or 15 minutes to take some of the questions that we have for the students. So I'm going to ask each of you perhaps maybe the same question, and then we'll do like closing remarks, right? So so Professor Akhilesh, you had mentioned the importance of being practice ready. I do want to give you an opportunity to really elaborate on what you were going with your train of thought, right? So I'd love to hear just, if you can briefly about some of the efforts and strategies that you guys are employing to ensure that students are practice ready. And then Dr. Gardner, I'm going to come over to you, and just so you can highlight what Alliance University is doing, and then we'll carry on from there.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Before I elaborate this question of yours, while interacting with the industry experts at many instances, I came across certain questions and their remarks actually. So finally, I came to the conclusion that no one is having time when we talk about industry and law organizations. They basically focuses on this thing that they don't have time to train the untrained. So they want to train the trained people. So how to train the trained people? That is the biggest challenge for the law school. So within the law school, you have to train the students so that once they are pass out, they are trained enough to be trained by the industry further and to be inducted by them. And every industry, to be very frank, they want to recruit the best in the lowest cost. It is actually whole globe is like that only when we talk about business. And further, they wanted to polish the knowledge of those who have acquired basic knowledge and training in advance. Now, these are the different challenges when we used to face the student, and we used to talk to the students and industry in interface. Actually, these are the biggest challenge we are actually getting. So how to mitigate those challenges? So for example, what we have done, we have created 22 skill center within the law school. So there are different skill center which is taking care of different kind of skill enhancement of the student. Like we have a unique center, it is called as Lawyer Trial Advocacy Center. So what we do actually, this Lawyer Trial Advocacy Center is actually focuses on to train the students to see all those kind of processes which is going inside the court. So we are training the students right from how to file a complaint. So you have to basically is a kind of role play actually. You have to role play as a police officer, as a client first, then as a police officer, complainant, then definitely as a lawyer of against party or this way, and then finally you have to think like a doctor also, forensic science expert also. So this Lawyer Trial Advocacy Center is basically focuses on trial advocacy nuances of the student. And we used to provide all those people a workshop first, and that it runs like a competition actually, a 1 year competition, wherein students come and then they experience all the stages, right from complaint, FIR, then registry department. Also, we have actually created a registry department for like a court. We are working with the students on the same format what court is working actually. We used to set up the mock courts, and then faculty members and other people from outside have been called, and they used to basically cross-examine those people and those students. So they get to know everything. So like way we have a PIL center, which is basically focusing on all kind of research where PIL can be filed. And I'm happy to share that last year, if you have come across this news that Mumbai, this RA Forest, one PIL has been filed by one of our student called named Rishabh Ranjan. Finally, Supreme Court has told center to just stop this cutting the RA forest, and then different things had happened because of this metro development and all. So we have this PIL center definitely. Then yes, research center is one of the most important center you require for enhancing their drafting skill and definitely other kind of research skills. We have debating society, moot court society. We try to give more opportunity to the students this time also. We are into different kind of international moot court competition. We have won certain as well. So this way, it is a kind of student centric and basically exposure to the student centric kind of approach we are having, because whatever even Professor Alok Mishra has said, for all kind of placement opportunity, you need to sharpen the skill of your student. And if you are not able to do so, they will not be absorbed. And finally, it is a kind of negative remark for us. So for me, it is a takeaway like, don't pursue law just for the sake of it. Earn a career, not just a degree. So securing the good grades are important to get into the industry, as it is a mandatory requirement for entering the profession. But if you think so that only passing the examination with good grades with best law schools will suffice, the answer is big no. You have to go through these kind of interface, and if you are not doing it, then definitely you will not be able to achieve what you are now actually aspiring for. So for me, skill development is one of the most important setup inside the law school, beside faculty and curriculum.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dr. Gardner, I'm going to come over to you and you can elaborate perhaps on how Alliance University is taking this forward.
Okay. Very rightly pointed out by Professor Akhilesh that skill building is important. And we do have a center for career and networking that helps students. It facilitates students in getting good internship, as well as it helps the student, facilitates students in placement as well. Making sure that they have the required skills for the profession. We make sure that they have constant industry interface. So we keep calling people from industry to guide students as to what they should be focusing on so that they are industry ready. We also help, like we have 5 different specialization in international law, corporate law, IPR, criminal law. So depending on their specialization in their area of interest, we organize various workshops. We invite industry experts to help them and guide them. We also have 4 centers, 4 major centers: Center for IPR, Center for Criminal Law, Center for Corporate Governance, Center for ADR, so that the students can do some research in that area and develop their skill in the area of their interest. At the same time, we do realize that it is very important for them to have mooting skills. So we are organizing intra-moot competitions. Then we make a panel. We make sure that our students participate in different moot court competitions so that they can improve on their presentation and research skills. At the same time, we do feel that drafting needs some hand holding. So when it comes to moot and when it comes to drafting, we are taking this for 2 consecutive semesters so that the students are good in drafting and mooting skills. So with a lot of activities, we make sure with a lot of debates, a lot of MUNs, and all these activities are conducted regularly so that students are exposed and they gather the skills before they pass out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Karen. So Dr. Tabriz, I'm coming over to you, and this will be our final question. So I would like for each of you to maybe kind of just take a minute to share your final takeaways for the audience that is listening today. We're all living in these unprecedented times. Everyone is very anxious about how to navigate these challenging waters that we're all experiencing. A lot of the CBSE board exams have been either postponed or just outright canceled, right? Some of the other exams have also been postponed. And so there's a lot of uncertainty, anxiety, and which is causing students to really stress, right? So what I would love to hear from you, giving your wisdom and experience and everything that you know about sort of these challenging times in life, period. What advice or guidance would you give these law aspirants and also also for the parents that are listening, to help them navigate these choppy waters and to get to sort of that next stage in their life, that horizon where they're able to maybe attend law school if they are so inclined, right? But how would you help them, and what words of wisdom would you give them to help them in this difficult time? And I'll start with you, and then Professor Khan, I'm going to come over to you. Okay.
Thank you.
I think they should not be worried about this difficult time, because in the testing time, the testing of the patience. And we talk about the lawyering, one of the best skill is the patience. That because every day a lawyer will get a difficult question, maybe murder case in the night, tomorrow is the, they have to go next day for the, bail and all. They have to handle very complex cases, maybe fraud, or maybe, $1 billion kind of the losses in the company and all. So one of the best skill of the lawyer is that patience. So they have to this is testing time for them, so they may exam maybe postponed for the 12th. They should not be worried. What they can do, they go on trying and searching on the best law school that suits their requirement. So I mentioned in my first address that I am talking about the culture. So they have to see that where is the learning culture is there, where a lot of openness is given to them. They will have full autonomy to share their ideas, their thoughts. They can innovate their ideas, and they can become one of the very fertile lawyering they can gain. I must agree about this Dr. Kiran Gardner, because I was the founder director of the Alliance Law School in 2012. Now she is leading the law school. I'm very happy to see law school is growing. And also I had the Dr. Nuzhat talking about that the collaboration with the foreign university. The Khan was mentioning about the skill orientation. All this is very important for a lawyer. So what they do, but because they see the way the market is changing and we are having the globalized kind of the legal education, I'm a strong believer that we should not focus a lot on the placement, because placement is an outcome. If the training of the lawyer in the law school is properly done, he will be automatically getting a good placement, because now every law firm or any company, they want the billion kind of these the lawyers they want to hire. So if you are a good, and also the silent message goes in the market, so there will be no problem for the job. Now the question is that the see for the new education policy, it is focusing on the holistic education, focusing on the inter and multidisciplinary education. With this process, the standalone colleges and also the NLUs may have a challenge in future, because I don't agree that everybody is trying to go and try to NLU if they're not going to private law school. Even some private law school are doing a better job than some of the NLUs, because NLU have a different challenge, because they cannot provide the holistic education, because they're focusing mostly on the legal part. Because, and if you go a kind of holistic university like our university, where we have 12 school in the GDU Goenka University, we have 12 school, and we have a student from around 35 countries. So the point is that if you want to do any kind of cross-cultural discussion, or you want to have any cross-discipline projects or any research, because we have almost all the kind of discipline. They talk about this School of Engineering, Management, Humanities, communication, architecture, design, everything is there. And even the we have the medical school and all. So the point is that that is the new direction we have to move, because a lawyer should understand all the kind of nexus with the law, and then he can develop a holistic lawyering system. This is not possible in a local college, not possible in a standalone NLU, because they cannot run a kind of the interdisciplinary course. When I was in UPS, I started the BTech LLB honors in cyber law and IPR. This course cannot be run by NLU, because they do not have very strong background in technology. There's no laboratory for the computer science. There is no strong faculty in the computer science engineering to have the forensic science and learning about the computer forensic science and security. So that is the new direction, and this is only possible in a well-established university where all the disciplines are available. So that is the also the focus area about this kind of new education policy, and then we are moving on that direction. We have around 35 multi university kind of the collaboration, where students can do some semester here, they can go for the summer school in the foreign country, they can do 2 year in India, 3 year in the foreign country. So a lot of options are there. This way, student will be able to explore all the kind of talent they have, and also they will be able to specialize the area they want to explore, because the law has become very, very diverse area. For example, nobody thought about the strong nexus between the law and then medical kind of challenges. And right now, if you see the lot of cases coming of the medical negligence, medical violation in the hospitals, oxygen supply, this and that. It will have lot of nexus in law and science and technology. Because of the pandemic, we have the cyber crime cases grown 3 times. Nobody thought. So if you understand about the nexus in the law and the science and technology in cyber crime and cyber security. So my point is that students should try to get the holistic education, which is only possible in the established universities where a lot of collaboration with the foreign universities are there, and also they have a lot of options to do cross-cultural projects. They have to do cross-disciplinary projects, and that's why all the bright students should try to go for the holistic education. And regarding the difficult time, because ultimately every university will be delayed because of delay in the 12th kind of the examination. So they should not be worried. They should just try to raise their kind of learning, because for a lawyer, learning is very, very important. It should be a part of your attitude that should always try to learn. But the how to learn, what to learn is very important area. And then that's why being a lawyer, you should have the at least all the important areas of the knowledge. With these viewers, I wish all the new budding lawyers who are aspiring to join a law school a very bright and very, kind of happy life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. Professor Khan, over to you.
Yeah. Did the question remain same?
Yeah, same question. These are your final remarks, takeaways for the audience.
Okay. So if I talk of, for the students with regard to why to join this university, my previous speakers and colleagues, they very efficiently said with regard to that, of course, NLUs otherwise are in India taken to be some very good places, and they are offering 5-year law. But now, first of all, many private universities are also, in fact, they are also offering, not only offering, they are offering 5-year law as well as 3-year laws. So to talk of the students in this particular period of time, especially when we are here with the COVID situation, it is need not to worry, because lawyers are the future. Somehow we can say that legal education plays an important role in developing lawyers who act later on as social engineers. And that also helps in the process of nation building. So the students, if they are taught interdisciplinary within the university, and this is of much help in our university also, because we are offering large number of paper as basket papers, as open electives. And these open electives are actually, studying that we are not, not following Bar Council of India directive in following our curriculum. We are definitely following that. But simultaneously, as I already told you, by collaborating with many universities, we are exposing them to different type of courses than interdisciplinary with the help of open electives. And what I have noticed, they are very much interested in those open elective courses, because that gives them a different type of exposure in collaboration with another faculty. For example, if they are studying media and the law, only sitting in the law faculty, they are not taking that much of interest, only knowing the provisions. But if they are going to the media school, which we have a very big media school, being a Times of India group in our university, we have a very good this media school. So if they are going to that school to study that paper, they are being practically exposed to the subject. So that is one of the things. And then, as all of us are saying, that legal education is only merely mugging up and getting marks is not important to make you a good lawyer. Your practical exposure, and that practical exposure also with your choice, with your interest, whether you want to be we should not impose them, have industry exposure, because that each student should be trained as per his or her choice. And thereby, if they are being exposed to, different type of practicals, such as participating in moot court, different type of problems, not only going to but inter-faculty and then organizing itself, then giving different type of problems in the moot courts, then of course exposing them to the field, for me, I feel that is the most important thing. They should be exposed to, while a student, apart from classroom learning, they should always see the practical part of it in the form of that where they can give some type of legal, awareness to the people. There can be two, dimension, imparting legal awareness or giving legal aid. So directly, because they are not yet lawyers, so they cannot directly give them any type of free legal aid in the sense that they can fight their case, but they can definitely show them a way in the form of creating the legal awareness, and whereby they can build their own area of interest. And another thing which I will say, since pandemic is continuing, so many of the parents are worried. In fact, in between, I can see there were some questions which are popping up, and some questions were, I would like to answer some of the questions, such as, is it mandatory or is it necessary? If you have participated in a moot, then only you will be a successful lawyer, or if you are part of a model United Nations, then only. No, I will not say no. I will say no, it is not necessary. Sometimes these things are part to make you learn, to make you polished, but not guarantee that if you have participated into it, then only you will be a very successful lawyer. In fact, even if your father is a successful lawyer, then also it is not a guarantee that you will be a successful lawyer. So it should come out of your interest. This is what I feel. But one thing is very sure, while a student nowadays opt for this 5-year law, it shows that they are inclined to this course, because they are going on to put their 5 big period of time for the whole course. So that's the thing. Another thing is regarding admissions. We are, of course, offering admission through CLAT, which is the most popular, this National University thing. Then, of course, LSAT is course we are taking. And one thing which I found unique about LSAT is, unlike our CLAT admission tests, testing their knowledge with regard to subject, with regard to thing, the CLAT basically takes their aptitude. This is what actually I'm continuously saying. And LSAT always talks about their inclination, their aptitude about, and their skills with regard to advocacy. So it is, rather than, testing their skills or knowledge with regard to subject matter, with regard to general knowledge, we should focus on their inclination towards the profession which they are going on to take in future, such as their speaking skills, their interests. So LSAT is very unique in that context. And I found it very interesting to take the student who come through LSAT, because they are found suitable in that skill while they are coming through LSAT. So from this forum, I would like to say that I'm really finding that students' admission through LSAT and CLAT, whether it is a graduate. And I also want to tell you from this forum, this year, since I have joined and I have opened two master's courses in Bennett University, and we would like to take your help with regard to that also. We are starting 2 masters. One is weekdays, 5-day week, the course will go on, and one LLM will go on weekends, so that the professionals are already, lawyers, judges, or maybe the students who want to simultaneously practice and want to do law. Maybe sometime financial situations after undergraduation, they want to be in the profession, but simultaneously want to acquire a master's degree. So we are starting, and there too, we want to depend on the admissions and collaborate with the LSAT.
We look forward to collaborating with you on your new programs, ma'am.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure to have you here, and thank you so much for your closing remarks. If I can, I'm going to invite Dr. Karen Gardner to give her closing remarks, and then we'll go to Dr. Mishra, and then Professor Kailesh will come to you for your final remarks, and then we'll conclude our session today, if we can, please.
Okay. When it comes to Alliance, we do have BA LLB, BBA LLB program, and we also have LLM. And in LLM, we have 4 branches where we are giving LLM in criminal law, constitutional law, IPR, and I'm forgetting. 4 areas are there: constitution, corporate, criminal, and RPR. So these are the 4 areas where we are giving LLM. We are also running a PhD program, a robust PhD program, where we have more than 50 scholars conducting research. So And I would say that from the time I have joined, I like this place, very beautiful location. If you see Alliance University, the university is very lush green and with thousands of trees and flowering plants and birds and things. So a very soothing environment. And of course, the place is such that it is a hub for startups. So a lot of corporate placements are easy to acquire, and students do get good internship and good exposure. So yeah, a good place to be there for next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your closing remarks. And you're right, it is a very beautiful campus. We've had the pleasure to visit on several occasions. Over to you, Professor Mishra.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. In fact, to students, I would like to mention that we are a university which believes in rigorous work, in fact, and training you to the full in every aspect of learning. In fact, this is the age, children, when you qualify in NDA, when you qualify in IIT, the toughest exam of the world, and then CPMT and various tests which are very difficult. Similarly, the LSAT and CLAT and all Nmims, LAT, etc. So this is the time for you to work hard. The law courses are around 250 credit courses. We are the only university in India, in fact, which is teaching 23 papers in non-law component of BA LLB integrated program, fully justifying that we are awarding an honors degree of BA as well as of law. And also the BBA LLB honors program with 23 subjects for management education and rest for the law. And then with such a rigorous curriculum, we ensure that it is affectionately followed and students develop on their own. We believe that since aptitude of the student keeps on developing during these 5 years, the student who passes out from us goes for MBA law program of Nmims or across the world, and also takes admission in London School of Economics for economics studies further, for London School for history studies further, for other postgraduate degrees after taking this BLLB integrated program and BBLLB integrated program. In fact, we consider BBA as mini MBA, and we have a flagship college which is far ahead of different IIMs, the School of Business Management of Nmims, with 16 schools of Nmims in Mumbai campus and 8 campuses across India. And the hand-holding is done from Mumbai. Deans are here in Mumbai, their associate deans there in different campuses in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Indore, in Chandigarh. We are coming up in Dhule, in Navi Mumbai. So all these processes, in fact, of marketing, of syllabus making, of examination, of alumni network, of placements, internship, they are through the central pool and also through their different locations. So I believe that the recent laws, the core law areas, the efficiencies developed in these areas, and then the PG studies, which are there, the syllabus of 3-year LLM executive already passed in the recent US. Now it's going to be presented before Academic Council on 25th of this 25th of June. So like that, BBA LLB honors program and BA LLB honors program, then 148 students doing LLM in 5 specializations. Now BCI has come over, in fact, to take care of PG education also in India with research program, in which we conduct our own tests and research scholars are studying there. 25 people we selected for interviews, and finally 4 were recruited in PhD program found suitable. We do honor, in fact, all the schools of India, all the law schools, and it's a very, very great pleasure to have more than 1,500 law schools in the country, because India requires at least 2 lawyers in every village, in fact, to take justice, to take legal education at the grassroots level of the country. So a lot of lawyers are required in terms of quantity and high quality lawyers also. And the leadership, in fact, is discrete, segregated, and every law school has its own challenges. As I mentioned, different parents, different priorities, different locations, different culture of those places. Bombay has a legacy of 150 years, the first law college of Asia. The government law college was established in Bombay in 1852 and then the Bombay University in 1857. A highly civilized city, quite contrastingly apart from Delhi and NCR. The society is different, the civil society, and the schooling which is there in the schools of Bombay, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Chandigarh, in Delhi. That's wonderful. In fact, we have students from more than 15 states of the country studying with us. And we have one of the most learned academic leaders. The decisions we took on 15th of March last year when Janta Curfew came on 22nd, the university went online and results stood declared by 15th of May of that session, and the new session was launched in time. So that kind of speed, in fact, it's a technology-driven university in autopilot mode. Here, individuals don't matter. We have established the systems, in fact, which take care of things. Individuals may do value addition. Once the systems are developed, then institutions like Nmims and work culture stands created at 8 kilometers from Mumbai International Airport on Swami Vedant Marg in Villeparle West. In fact, the university is located, and the NMIMS headquarters are located in the law school. So with this note, I welcome the students to, whenever you are in Bombay, my personal number is in public domain, do reach us, and I invite all the panelists who are great friends of mine, in fact, whom I have met always on different locations. It's good to interact with Dr. Nusrat Parveen Khan, Dr. Akhilesh, and also Professor Kiran Gardner and Professor Tabriz. My personal condolences to Professor Tabriz Ahmed, who recently lost his mother also. So with this note, with a lot of regards to LSAT team, to Swara Ghate, to Lacko offering, and to you yourself and Dickinson and Professor Testy Kelly, and so many friends of LSAT, you have all visited my law school and office and MIMS. So nice of you for giving this opportunity to interact with the young minds of the country, whom I believe that they are to be very rough and tough. They have to emerge as problem solvers in this country, not exactly as facility enjoyers. And this is what we have to instill the instinct in highly nurtured and civilized students of modern day parenting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for those very, very encouraging remarks. We desperately, we so appreciate you for hosting us whenever we come to Mumbai. I'm going to now give it over to Professor Kailesh, and you can give us your closing remarks. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Ishok. As you know that the legal profession is not what it was century or even a decade ago, actually. Its role in the society is different because it has a wider set of economic, political, and social roles. So law schools clearly have responsibility to ensure that their students receive a legal education which will prepare them to cope effectively with the challenges of legal practice in the globalized 21st century. And after pandemic, it is too relevant because now things are changing on daily basis. So definitely we have to change our whole kind of setup to actually develop the student in a way so that they are acceptable by the fraternity. So at Lloyd, what we emphasize on that we work on the traits of the students once they are enrolled with the college and constantly enhance their skill respectively. We also aim to hone their legal skills through different centers. I told you 80 to 22 centers actually we are having, and in all the centers, it is a student-centric centers, definitely led by the faculty members. But all these volunteers are working very closely with the faculty members, and as remarked by even Professor Tabriz, we give full freedom to the student to work closely with the faculty and grow their own ideas and also work on their ideas. To be very frank, I must appreciate our students that whatever skill center we are having, this is actually developed by the student definitely in the guidance of the faculty members, and they are working very good. In last 2-3 years, we are one of the leader in terms of mooting competition. You go anywhere, our team goes and perform and also win many a time. And we are 18 years old law school situated in Delhi NCR and exposed to all kind of opportunity, whether it is internship, placement opportunities. You call any tribunal, you talk about any law firm offices, everything is accessible to us. And this is an advantage definitely is having with all the Delhi NCR colleges. But again, we have this relationship with the fraternity of legal fraternity in general. I can say you name any of the Supreme Court judges, almost 70% of Supreme Court judges have visited Lloyd in last 4-5 years. We are fortunate to be actually supported by Professor N.R. Madhava Menon, who was supposed to be the father of modern legal education in the country. And we are also having a moot court competition, SARC moot court competition in his name. It is a sixth year actually. We have just completed 6th year of that moot court competition. So these all things are created just to have a proper exposure to the student with all these legal fraternity who come to the college, talk about their experiences, give them certain skill, try to enhance their skill, try to interact with them and mentor them. And this is what we are closely, I can say we are closely working with the student to hone their skills so that they can be accepted by the legal fraternity, and that is need of the RHM. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your closing remarks. So it looks like my colleagues were actually answering a lot of the questions during our talk, right, which is fantastic because it seems as though we have run short on time. So in closing, I first and foremost want to just take the opportunity to thank my distinguished and honored panelists for taking time to not only speak to us over at LSAC Global, but more importantly to the students and parents that have joined us in our audience today. I'd also like to thank our audience members for really taking the time out of your day in the midst of everything that is happening around you to really sort of focus in on what you want to accomplish in the very near future. Just know that along with all of our Alliance members that are here on the panel today, please know that LSAC Global is here to support you in your journey as well. Finally, I'd like to thank my LSAC Global teammates who have very tirelessly put in a lot of effort, energy, thought, and time into making this all possible for us. A few reminders that I have for you. We are closing registration for LSAT India on Friday, 14th May. So for those of you who have yet to register, you still have time to register, and you can do so by visiting discoverlaw.in, and you can find all of the information that you need about how to register for the exam. We also earlier this year launched a new product called Lsac Law Prep. And this platform is designed to help students really prepare for test day success. So you have an opportunity to really hone your skills that were highlighted by a number of our panelists today. And those skills include logical reasoning, analytical reasoning, and reading comprehension. We designed this product with the student in mind because for us, you are the most important customer that we have. So we want to ensure that we are helping you to achieve your dream of going to law school and ultimately becoming a lawyer. To that end, we have two very great scholarships that we're making available. Both of them are 4 lakhs each. We have one that is called the LSAT India Topper. The other one is the Shamnad Bashir Access to Justice essay competition, and the last date for submissions for the essay is on June 1st, 2001. So if you are still in the process of writing your essay, you still have a little bit of time. I would encourage you to put your best foot forward in these uncertain times. And when others are losing their head around you, to focus in, keep things very simple and light so that you do not fall victim to the anxiety, to depression, right? But focus on what you want to accomplish. As it was alluded to earlier during this conversation, lawyers are not only intellectual leaders, but they're also leaders of social movements. And I think that this is a very, very poignant time in our history as global citizens. So we are looking to you, the next generation of lawyers and leaders in India, to really pick up that mantle that has been passed on to you by some of the great, both academic and just practicing lawyers, some of the forefathers of law in India. And so we are looking to you to be able to carry that legacy forward. And with that, I'd like to thank my panelists again, thank my audience for attending, and bid you farewell, a good night. Please stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, and make sure that you're keeping you and your loved ones safe. Thank you so much for your time. And we'll see you again on the next webinar that we host. Thank you so much.